and we search and we look and we can blame this person and that person of how we are feeling. But it is within inside of us. Yeah. And so once we work with this family constellation system therapy, we actually are in touch with it. We begin to see, oh my gosh, I act just like my grandfather. I copied my grandfather's behavior, but unconsciously, without even knowing it. I never met my grandfather, but then it is inside of my DNA. It's through DNA. So shall I hate my grandfather because he has that behavior and now I'm suffering from it? No. I actually begin to see what can I give back to him and what can I take from him through my father or through my mother. Yeah, I can say, well, Grandpa, I know this anger, strong anger I have that I don't know where it's coming from. I discover it comes from you, so I can give it to you because you have a better ownership.
Welcome to the Spiritual Forum, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I just have a couple of reminders. I hope that you decide to join my newsletter list, which you can at thespiritualforum.org. You'll also learn about my retreat and my blog and other things going on there. And just want to remind you, if you get a moment, you like this podcast, even if you're watching on YouTube, if you could leave a rating rating and review at Apple Podcasts, that would really help me out. I lost a bunch of my reviews and my ratings. They just disappeared. And so I'm trying to get them back. So I'd really appreciate if you help me out in that way. And thank everyone for joining us and for contributing in any way possible, even if it's just lending your ears. This is a voice of hope, inspiration, and awakening as we broadcast that energy out into the world, in a world that is looking for and just ready to embrace hope, inspiration, and awakening. Now,
Mhm.
my guest today, I'm so excited to talk about her, talk to her. Her
Mhm.
name is Euphrasia. No, I got it wrong. Euphrasia.
Yes, Euphrasia.
I got it right. Okay. Let me tell you. Let me start over. Let me introduce you to my guest. Her name is Euphrasia Nyaki,
Yeah.
and she is a healer born and raised in Tanzania who works internationally facilitating trainings and workshops on trauma healing. She also conducts these individual and group trauma healing sessions both in person and online. Now, she goes by Efu, and I'm going to call her Efu. She's a co founder of, is it AFYA? AFYA?
Afia.
AFYA. It's AFYA, a women's holistic healing center in Brazil. She's also a faculty member at the Somatic Experiencing Trauma Institute and a professor of systemic family constellations therapy at Hellinger Science Institute. Now, recently, she published a book titled Healing Trauma Through Family Constellations and Somatic Experiencing, Ancestral Wisdom from the Snail Clan of Tanzania. Welcome, Efu.
Thank you. There's a lot. I'm happy to be here, Carol. Really, this is wonderful.
I'm happy to have you. You're my first guest who came from the Snail Clan of Tanzania.
Exactly.
You're special.
Thank
And I
you.
can't wait to hear about it. I'm really interested in your background.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
before we start, let me just ask you a few questions about yourself, little rapid fire questions. And you've traveled a lot. And so, I'm interested in whether or not there's a favorite place that you have.
Well, yeah, of course, I I like being in Brazil. Brazil is my favorite place, and that's where I actually live. But every place is so different. I go to South Korea. I love South Korea. I go to China, Shanghai, China. I love China. Oh my goodness, where else? I mean, like I go to Europe in different countries. I go to in African continent. I go to Cairo, I go to Kenya. So I don't want all the. I mean, the listeners to say, "Oh, she didn't mention
Yeah, I get
much."
it.
No.
But you did, out of all of those places that you've traveled, you did decide to live in Brazil.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Brazil, I really feel comfortable in Brazil. It's my
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
second home after Tanzania.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have anyone in your life who you'd like to share who inspired you in a special way?
Yeah, somebody in my life who have inspired me. It's really my ancestors all together. My ancestors, my grandmothers, my grandfathers, all of them. And my mother. My mother, very simple, generous person. My father, they all very much in my inspiration. I always connect with all of them. Yeah. But there was one person that who inspired me when I was younger. When I used to work with YCS, Young Catholic Students, and she was the chaplain at that time. I think she died since. Her name is Sandra Stitch, and she really inspired me at that time to, as I was a leader of the movement in Tanzania of YCS. She used to say, "Yes, you're a strong woman." At that time was Margaret Thatcher was really, yeah, right. She said, "We want you to be a Margaret Thatcher of the young
Uh,
people here." And I remember feeling very uplifted by her, and all the things she talked about were very much always uplifting and liberating. So I will name her as my inspirational person as I was growing up, apart from my ancestors, yeah, and
oh,
my
those are both great answers. It's really wonderful to honor the ancestors.
yeah,
And I think most of us can point to someone in our
mm.
life that really pushed us or saw something in
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
And
They did.
sounds like she did. Yeah,
She
that's
did. She
wonderful.
did.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
Okay, the last question is can you succinctly share what your message is to the world?
My message to the world is, if we heal our traumas, we can actually radiate healing. Everybody is capable of healing themselves and healing the people around them. We're all made to be able to heal ourselves and others. But our traumas keep us from doing that. So if we really heal our trauma, our world will be a very peaceful place.
That's the key. Yeah. So we're really going to be digging into the healing, what trauma is, and also the different kind of healing modalities that you use and that is in your book. So before we get into it, how did you get to be a healer? Can you share us a little bit about your background and your upbringing in Tanzania?
Yes. So I became a healer naturally by living it, huh? Because as I was growing up, my ancestors, my grandmother, grandfather, my mother, my father also, whenever you have like a pain, belly ache, or you have headache, or you ate and you're not feeling well, they will always show you a plant that you can eat and you feel better. So right there, I was introduced to healing modality using the herbal medicines, yeah, around in the field. You don't even cultivate it; it's over there, it's growing on its own,
Uh,
and you chew it, you swallow, that is fine, or you make a tea out of it and you feel fine. So I grew up learning like that, not like having in a classroom of this, but just picking up from the forest or from the field around the home and using it. And I remember feeling okay. So, and then it. Later on, when you feel like you need a plant, you go right there. It's right there because from what the first moment you heard from the mother, the father, the grandmother, and so forth. Yeah. So that's how I started.
it's so interesting. We've really pulled away from that so much, at least in the West. Nobody has that intuitive sense of how to heal themselves, nor do they know what plant to go to.
Right.
We go to the doctor.
Exactly. Or go to the pharmacy.
Yeah, we go to the pharmacy, right. It's but I think what you're describing sounds so much closer to how we were meant to live, like humans on this planet, that we're meant to have everything available to us and
Yes.
also have the intuition and the knowledge of the ancestors to
Yes.
guide us in a way that we can be healed.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
That's it.
but as a little girl in Tanzania, how did you end up leaving and ending up in Brazil?
Okay, so then that ambient. Oh, I forgot to say one more thing, though. I think
Okay.
it's very, very important. So, apart from the herbal medicines that we grew up with and how you knew how you could heal yourself, also we did a lot of rituals. I remember my parents, our clan doing rituals. This clan, Nyaki clan from Tanzania, we will do a lot of rituals, and those rituals for me were also for healing. Yeah, that you are empowered, and we did rituals for different reasons, for different moments. Like if the baby was born, there's a special ritual. If somebody died, there's a special ritual. If somebody's going to get married, there was a special ritual. So I grew up with those rituals. And when I became adolescent, after I had my first menstruation, there was a special ritual, and you just feel so much empowered. For me is more than healing. It's like, because they do the ritual, and then you have somebody, one of the uncles, I think they just touch you very gently in the name of your father from at the back, to tell you to go to the world and go with the blessings of the ancestors, and the world is yours, and whatever you touch, it grows, it just expand. You have everything, you're not alone. I remember those words until today, and I remember my body feeling like, yes, yes.
Yes. Oh my
So
gosh.
that's more than healing also, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
mean,
support.
ritual is important. We don't do that in the West. We really
Yeah,
don't. It's something that's really, really missing, and I think people have lost touch with why it's important. We have graduations and things like that, but even around birth, our births are so medicalized and so sterilized, and we don't have people doing a ritual around to welcome the baby and to honor the whole process.
yeah,
That
yeah, yeah. So I grew up in that. That's what made me, like, when you ask a question, really what made you a healer. So that's feeling, receiving, picking up all of that. And then when I was ready to move on to my life, that is when I come across the my calling. I mean, I was also thinking like anybody else, thinking of, okay, getting married, but every time I got in touch with the idea of getting married was not really quite calling me. So so then I decided to join these missionaries, yeah, religious, because I wanted to do some important work, like for healing, for helping others. And sure, I found these Maryknoll Sisters of St. Dominic. They very, very much, they were all over the world, international group. And no, I didn't want any group that I will have to wear a habit, like kind of change into some
yeah.
other kind of group. I just wanted to be natural and be a normal person. And so I found that group and I joined them. So when I joined them, I came to US, New York. And then after that, I said I wanted, when you finish your training, your preparation to become a religious person, then you also decide where you want to go. And I asked if I could go to Brazil. I have no idea why, but the destiny is always calling us that way. So, and of course, they said, "Do you know anybody there?" No, I don't actually. So I went to Brazil, and I've been there since 33 years already. Ah, no, sorry, 31. I'm like confusing again.
Wow.
31 years already I've been in Brazil. And and then there I started also kind of integrating what I learned with the things I found there. As I'm helping those women, I found women who suffered violence, and I'm going to help them. And then I started asking them for herbal medicines that they know. And then I have to know the names in Portuguese, because I had to learn Portuguese, another language. Yeah. So that's how I started my mission. Yeah. The AFIA you're talking about is the center that I started, where I welcome a lot of all these women from the community. And together we learn all about these methods of healing: herbal medicine, mud therapy, Reiki, massage. And then, of course, we build on, we come to family constellation, somatic experiencing, and all of that. Yeah,
Wow.
shortly, that's it. Yeah.
What an interesting story. I
Mm.
think this I'm going to go to Brazil and I don't know anyone there is really I mean, that would be really intimidating for most people, like, at least I gotta know somebody. That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like the leap of faith, like you
Yeah.
knew, you just knew.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
knew. That's the
Yeah.
right place. Mm.
Yeah. Now the sisterhood that you're in, you said Marian? Did you say that?
No, Maryknoll. I don't know if you ever heard of the Maryknoll Sisters of
Oh,
Saint.
Maryknoll. Okay,
Yeah, you
Maryknoll.
know me. Yeah, they're well
Okay.
known in the US.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah.
thought you said Marian. Okay,
No,
Maryknoll. Okay.
Maryknoll.
Okay.
Maryknoll.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
we're international, so been all over the world, and we have members from different countries also.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. All right. Well, that's quite a story. All right. So let's talk about first of all, before we get into the somatic healing
Mhm,
and the family constellations,
mhm,
which I really knew nothing about family constellation until I read your book. Fascinating. But
mhm.
I would like to talk about trauma first because I think that people have possibly a narrower view of what trauma is,
Yeah,
and that only people who are in really horrible like war zones and things like that have trauma.
yeah,
But can you share how do you define trauma, and what are some examples, and how does it come about for people, all
yeah.
of us?
Great. Yes, yes, you're right. People are still quite far away from understanding trauma, which is really a daily life thing. So, trauma is actually the way we respond to any event that is kind of overwhelming, when it is too much. If anything happens to you right now and it feels too much, then my body try to respond to it. And then either I fail or I feel it's I just kind of collapse, like you get frozen while you're trying to defend yourself. Then that that energy actually remain in the body. And that's what trauma is. So trauma is not that event. It's not the war. It's
Mm-hmm.
how I respond to the
Mm-hmm.
idea of war. It's how I respond to how I see the war happening. It's how I respond to what came to me from that war. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why even some people have never been in a war, but just hearing the story of their ancestors being in the war, they're traumatized. So what happens here? Sometimes it's like how they respond to the story they had, what the meaning they make out of that story. Yeah, their reaction, all of the chemicals in the body start, like liberating a lot of adrenaline. They go into the war themselves, even though there's nobody to fight with here. Yeah.
Right, right.
So and you can find people in the same family. For example, there's big events that happens in the family. One child is completely fine and the other child has a lot of problems. And I say, what happened to this? It's again the way their body responded to that event. Yeah. And that event could be imaginary or it could be real, but the trauma is there in the body, the energy.
Okay, and the event, though, doesn't have to be war. It can be
Yeah.
like an accident or something that happens in
Yes.
the family.
Of course, I just mentioned war, but
Yeah.
the event can be actually even accident. We go to big things. The event can be like your daughter comes there and you are doing this work and you want her to know that they cannot interrupt you, right? And especially when they are little, and you just give them a look like go. And then they didn't quite understand, but when they saw that look, they can never forget anymore that look. So later on, they are an adult and they meet somebody who look at them and they say, "Oh, that look is my mother's look." Then they freeze again. Simple like that. It's a
Yes.
look. It's the new. Somebody said, hey, so and so has an accident, is going to the hospital. So it's not even that person is that has an accident. It's like how you receive that news. Even though they said, okay, yeah, now they're okay, they have come back from the hospital. But you remain with the first notice. And however reaction was, you threw the telephone away, you felt like you were going to scream. That is what the trauma is.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting because I knew that, I'll get into my own family constellation here, but I was raised in a family that was kinda like, we don't really have problems compared to the problems that other people have in the world, you
Right.
know? And then, so it's kinda like, "Okay, I guess we don't have any problems." And so yeah, I was like, so then I had this whole thing about trauma. Well, I don't have any trauma. I grew up in a family that didn't have any problems. But that's the family stuff that
Exactly,
yeah.
right. And when you start talking about your family stuff, then all the emotions start coming out. I know
Yeah.
there are people who come to me and say, "Well, I really don't have a trauma," just to say, but no, that's just this, in my family, my mother used to do this, or my father used to do this, and then my sister, and then you can see the tears begin to come out.
Yeah.
You say, "Oh, all right, that was not trauma. All right, let's deal with this now."
Right, but we all have it. We all have it.
We
We
all have.
and the clearing of the trauma, the healing of the trauma, it's kind of stuck. The energy's stuck in our body, and so as we heal it, it moves the energy in our body, but it also does it. It helps with our behaviors and our relationships with people, so that
Right.
we're not reenacting that trauma again. Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that is exactly what it is. Because as soon as what we need actually to in order to heal the traumatic energy that is in our body, because we feel so, this energy accumulates, and while we don't heal the trauma, it keeps attracting more kind of event like you had at the original moment. So you're just kind of getting like this, like that, like that, like that, like that, like you're so tense all the time, and then begin to explode maybe sometimes with people. So when we get somebody like the work I do now, and many other people, like we have Somatic Experiencing Institute creating a lot of trainings all over the world. So if you get a good professional that has studied in somatic experiencing, and they sit with you, we call this you create a safety space or safety container, because you help them to feel safe. Because what was lacking at the moment that the event actually generated all of that and trauma was the support, the loving care, the word of, saying that, well, hey, I'm here. That was all of that is lacking. And so what it stays there is extreme fear and anger of how you felt in your body, and guilt and shame, you name it. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the moment that you are sitting with somebody who will be able to make you feel safe, then the energy begin to release by itself. Trembling, crying, burping, all of that is liberating of all that energy. And after you liberate, even for just 3 minutes or 4 minutes, you feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I had all that energy in my body. Now I feel so comfortable. I feel so light. This is what people report immediate, you know.
Yeah.
And then they come the following day, they say, you know what? I slept so well. Didn't realize that I wasn't sleeping well. Now I slept like 5 hours straight, and then I slept again. You know what I mean? They report all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
positive things for maybe just a very short time of therapy. Yeah. So that's, you feel safe, you liberate the energy in the nervous system of traumatic.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so I've got 2 questions. So, somatic experiencing is it is working with the trauma that's stuck in your body, but the therapist makes you feel safe. But
Yeah.
how does it then kinda leave your body? What happens in that session?
Well, for example, trembling. Okay, you were holding so much, you were tense, right?
Yeah.
Because you're feeling so tense in your body, shoulders everywhere. When you feel safe with the therapist helping you to orient yourself in the environment, and to remember that the traumatic event actually always happened. It's gone.
Yeah.
Now you are safe. When you realize that, actually you start trembling. Trembling is such a good thing. We are afraid of trembling, but you start trembling is good, because through trembling you're discharging the energy, you're
Yeah.
liberating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through
Yeah.
tears, you're liberating that energy. Burping, you're liberating that energy. And so it's coming out. And all of a sudden, you start feeling more light in your body, because you were carrying so much heavy energy in your shoulders, in your belly, everywhere. Yeah. So we use this technique just where, just see, and we don't do much, but it's our intention. Yeah. I sit with you with a positive intention that I'm helping you to become aware that the traumatic event has passed and that we are safe here. And even if the traumatic event has not passed, like people who live in the war zone area, you can
Hmm.
still help them to feel safe wherever they are. So,
Okay.
if you are here as nothing is happening to you at this very 1 minute, second, then you are alive and you are safe for now. So we work a lot with the present moment also. We want people
Okay.
to we want people to feel their bodily sensation at the present moment.
Okay. So you're not asking them to go back and feel the feeling at that time when they
No,
experienced the trauma. You're
you're
not asking
feeling
them to
what
do
you're
that.
feeling now. It's
Okay, got it.
the work happening for the present moment.
Okay. What if somebody had a traumatic event that they're not even aware of, like it was when they were a small child or something like that, and they have either issues in the body or they have behavioral issues or relationship issues, but it really goes way back to when they were maybe an infant or something. Is that something that somatic experiencing can help?
Yes, the body remembers.
Uh-huh.
The body will remember itself. Sometimes, as you're working with them, they're noticing the body, they are releasing. And at one point, you might see them looking like, and you say, is there any memory? Is there any image? You say, yeah, this image just came to me. Like, I see my father. I don't know where is this coming from, but I see my father with a backpack, and I'm looking at him, and he just keep going and going and going. And I really feel like I want to run after them. We say, oh, you want to run after them. So we help them to actually, we said, complete that movement. Then first of all, we when we hear that, we said, and they begin to cry. And that might be when they were like 5 or 6, or when they were a little baby infant and they
Yeah.
saw their father leaving. And that's it. And the little child just look. And that look will come at that moment. The memory just came up, will come up when they feel secure. So anyway, you help them to, first of all, to tell a little bit of, say, if they remember anything of that story. They might say, I don't remember, but I know my mother and father separated. So we can actually help them to make a sense out of that. Okay, if your mom and dad separated at that time, you might have seen your dad leaving.
Mhm.
Yes, and then they look. So what, if your body could have done something, what would you have done? What could now? But thinking of now, this body of now, what does the body feel like doing? Say, I want to run after him. Okay, so let's just imagine running. You know, and running again is to let out all the energy again in the body that was kept there. Because when they saw their father going, they wanted to have run with the father, but just the desire of wanting to run with the father liberate a lot of adrenaline in the system and cortisol, and it stays in, and this is what accumulates, and it will repeat over and over again, and it attracts other traumas because you have so much muscles. You build muscles that are very thick, the muscles that are very tight, and more adrenaline keep on coming in, and therefore you keep attracting traumas of the same kind. So
Yeah.
when we help them to run, they complete that desire, and then hence the liberation of hormones will stop, where actually they begin to feel more comfortable and more soft and more relaxed. It is so simple, very scientifically understanding, but in a very simple way.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's so simple, but I think it takes a real special and unique capacity of the therapist to
Yeah,
be able to create that safe space
yeah,
for that
yes,
person so that yeah, that would be, I think, really a special skill.
totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we
Yeah.
train people.
Yes, yeah, but I imagine not everyone's built for it, but I'm guessing that most people are attracted to it, have
Yeah,
the skill, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So what about the family constellation system therapy? I didn't know what that was, and I was reading your book, and so I went to YouTube and I watched some therapy session. It was a family constellation therapy session. I thought it was fascinating. I'd
Yeah.
never seen anything like that before, and I still don't quite understand how it works.
Mm.
But it's fascinating that people can work through whatever they've inherited from their families in this way.
Right. Yes. So, family constellation system therapy is another way of healing trauma that put us in touch with our own emotions and conflicts that arise from the family where we grew up, that we carry it in our system. We inherit from all of our ancestors all the wonderful things, the goodness. At the same time, we also inherited all of the energy for the trauma that they carry also from all the past experiences. So with this energy that we come on with, it's a harder one, when you're healing trauma from the car accident or from something that happened directly to you. It's actually even easier because it happened in your body. But when actually it's just the memory you have in the body, it feels very strange. And like Peter Levine, the founder of Somatic Experiencing Institute, which I learned from him really, and it's a
Mhm.
big institute now with more than 50,000 practitioners.
Wow.
Yeah, already, like many of
Wow.
them training. So he actually used to say, he said, I remember I gave a workshop once with him, and he said, it's like what happens when what we inherited in from our ancestors of traumatic energy. It's like a lingering ghost. It's hanging inside us, but we don't know what is. It's there. This energy. What is it? I feel this way, but I don't know where it's coming from. And we search and we look and we can blame this person and that person of how we are feeling. But no, it is within inside of us. Yeah. And so once we work with this family constellation system therapy, we actually are in touch with it. We begin to see, oh my gosh, I act just like my grandfather. I copied my grandfather's behavior, but unconsciously, without even knowing it. I never met my grandfather, but then it is inside of my DNA. It's through DNA. So, shall I hate my grandfather because he has that behavior and then now I'm suffering from it? No. I actually begin to see what can I give back to him and what can I take from him through my father or through my mother. Yeah, I can say, well, Grandpa, I know this anger, strong anger I have that I don't know where it's coming from. I discover it comes from you, so I can give it to you because you have a better ownership.
Oh.
But I will take your strength.
Oh, oh, wow, there's a lot of agency in it. Yeah, we have a lot of choice. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. I, I,
Yeah.
I always talk to people. I say, choice. Now you have your DNA came from these people. So what you have inside is part of what they have. But they have more. You just inherited half of it. So now what do you want to take? No, he was such a bad person. Right, that's his. It belongs, the badness and whatever and rudeness belongs to them. Is there anything you want to choose to keep? Ah, well, I guess he was kind of a strong man. Great, take that.
Take
Tell
that.
him that you're taking that and you're leaving back all the things that are no longer serving you, no longer serving the universe around you. It's so simple. Again, it's simple but so
Well,
profound, and
it
so many
makes
people.
sense. It makes sense that healing would be simple. I don't think we're here to suffer. I don't think we're here to really feel, pain and suffer and be harmed all the time. I would think that
Exactly.
healing would be something very natural to us, with body and soul.
Yes, very natural. It's true. We were never meant to suffer the way we are suffering in the universe. It's our cortical brain keeps that memory of suffering. Mhm.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
like that, the ancestors also do not. I don't think they're happy wherever they are, or they were pure earth or whatever they are. They look at us and say, "That's so silly. If we already suffered that, why do they have to suffer again?"
Right, right. We did that.
We did it. So leave it now.
Let
Choose
let it
better.
go.
You have so much choices. Let it go.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So the family constellations, what I saw, it looks like there's a group of people that participate, and
Mhm.
whoever has like the issue that they want to work through, they
Mm.
select people out of that group to represent some aspect of their family.
Right.
And then what I don't understand is how those people are able to kind of channel or express the truth when
Yeah.
they don't even know those people.
Okay. So now, yeah, you're good. You're touching in a place where I would say to people, if you want to do a training, you have to, because this is where you really need to understand a secret is that we are all one. Hmm?
Right.
We are
Right.
all one. We talk about that all the time, but then when it comes down to things, we forget about this. We're all one. We are so connected. We are very connected to our ancestors where no time cannot separate us, space cannot separate us. And then from that connection, we connect with the people we meet, like I'm connected to you right now. Really, even through this internet space, we are very connected. So this connection is through an energy field sometimes, or it's through, because through the airs up here in the sky there's no boundary.
Mhm,
We put
mhm.
boundaries and walls, but up here there's no boundaries, there's no walls. So the energy field is just transmit, it's just passing over to different places. Yeah. So and this was this guy called he is a scientist, Rupert Sheldrake, has many books written about the energy field, morphogenetic fields, morphic resonance. I read a lot about that, and it just makes so much sense because with this we resonate with one another. And sometimes you might even find a person on the internet and you call them, you don't even know why you do that. But there is something that we are connected with. We are going to touch each other in a very deep
Mhm,
way.
mhm.
So when this group of people sitting in a room and we ask them, choose somebody to, okay, they want to resolve something to do with how they relate with the mother, for example. So I just say, choose somebody to represent you and another person to represent your mother. Well, when they do that, they do, and then they just sit and observe their life journey. Yeah. When they're observing, they actually could see the movement between the mother and the son or the daughter. And you feel like, oh my gosh, this person I picked up, they don't know me. But they are touching into something that, oh, I'm aware of, or I was not aware of. Yeah. So this is to bring awareness. And there are invisible dynamics that we don't really know. Yeah. Dynamics like, for example, okay, if a daughter and a mother, they don't get along at all, they're nearly killing each other every day they meet. It's just like rah, 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 rah. When we put the representative, when they put the representative, you could see the movement. For example, the daughter goes behind the mother. Okay, so this person didn't know, they don't know constellation, they don't know the principles of constellation. So, what we need to learn is the principles of constellation, where we talk about the oneness, we talk about the energy field, but we also talk about the orders of love. We can
Uh-huh.
talk more about that.
Yes, I wanna get into that next. Good.
Exactly. Next, we can talk about that. So, when with the principles, we know when the daughter goes behind the mother cannot see the daughter because practically the daughter needs to be in front of the mother, right? Symbolically, we see even the belly is in front.
Mhm,
The belly
mhm.
is born mother put always in front. They don't, go in the back. So when the child go in the back, they want to be the mother of the mother,
Oh.
and that
Oh.
irritates the mother because, and then other problems happen. When this daughter goes into the to become a mother of the mother, they exclude the grandma
Who yes, who should be there.
who
Yes.
should be there. You see
Right.
what I mean? So
Yes.
the whole system become completely disorganized, and everybody is like very getting very agitated, very violent, very shouting. And so then we just immediately show them the order. If we invite them, we explain the order, we invite the daughter, or we invite them to walk towards their own place, and then everything calms down. So the person has to look, and those we call phenomena. You observe the phenomena that happen that helps you to know how to resolve the conflict in a very deep way, not the story that that continue all the time. But my mother is a very bad person because she doesn't listen. And and me, I'm better. I try to listen because I'm a psychologist and I know this and I know that. But my mother doesn't know anything. She never went to school and she doesn't listen. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah,
continue
yeah.
saying that every single day. But when you go to this movement, it's something totally different, invisible dynamic. And then when you are able to get in touch with that, the healing happens for good.
So the person who's has the issue is watching this, like, it's a stage for them. They're seeing themselves.
Yeah,
They're kind of ex and the people who are assuming these roles are like, they intuitively know where to stand or how to move and how and
yeah.
they have these feelings and they
See,
express the feelings. It's
and they
fascinating. And then the person who's wanting to resolve their issue is watching this. And by watching this, it's different when you're an observer, I guess, than when you're
yeah,
in the middle of it. And
right.
so they can, like, see themselves
Yeah.
and probably see some truth that they didn't see also.
Yes. Yes, they see everything and sometimes they get very desperate, like, oh, you mean I was like that? Oh my gosh, you mean I'm doing that? Yeah, and I think because we encourage people to select somebody you don't know at all.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because then you don't say, oh, yeah, they know my information, they're faking it up. No, you pick people you don't know at all and they bring that because of this morphogenetic resonance.
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
Yeah,
And everyone's thankfully tuned into that.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
this is so different than, like, talk therapy, which is what, you go to the therapist and you just talk about your problems.
Right, because you see what I have. Oh yeah, I'm good. I don't look me. I just try to do my things very correctly. But then she's always doing this, or he's always doing this. That's all. And we tell that story repeatedly. How many years? Sometimes up to 40 years. Go to the same therapist, and you keep telling the same story. And every time you tell that story, there's a lot of hormones that are liberated in your body for fight, flight all the time. You're getting more painful and every day, but you don't go anywhere. So, I mean, I think the examples help. I had this a client literally who came. He was 67 years old and he did therapy for 41 years
Wow.
because he started when he was an adolescent because of all the problems that happened in his life. So at the end of it, like coming close to the 40 something years of therapy, he was getting really angry. He said he chose this very good talk therapy guy who's psychology, who has a PhD from France and all of these. We thought that was the best one. But he said, but he was getting to a place like he said, I think I will be taken to police because every time I saw him, I was getting so angry at him that I'm just pouring my money to him, but I'm not getting any better because they just sit
Right.
and talk and analyze.
Right.
Well, and also with this therapist of talk, when you talk and analyze, though, you end up doing things you might not know because the way he behaved from explaining his relationship with his mother, the therapist helped him to conclude that maybe his mother wanted to abort him. So he said,
Okay.
and I said, don't think about your mother again. The mother is dead already, of course. Don't think about your mother again. She wanted to about, just forget him, cut her off your life completely. Okay? This is very opposite to how we teach with
Right.
the constellation connection with your ancestors. So when he came to us quite angry. We used somatic experiencing to help him drain that anger out. He was angry at his therapist. Therapist to drain that anger out. As soon as he drained all that anger out, we moved into family constellation. He's in a room with these women up in our center. He doesn't know anybody. So I said, you choose somebody to represent your mother, because you say you major problem with your mother, but also with his father. Choose somebody to represent your father and choose somebody to represent yourself. That's it. And then he blessed them and then he sat. Immediately, the person who represented his mother went down on the floor and started crawling the creature, like a snake. We call that phenomena. So
Uh,
and we're just watching it. And then I approached him and I said, do you understand this? He started crying desperately. He said, yes, I understood this because, and I don't know what is happening here that this person doesn't know my mother and acting this, because the mother had stroke when she was pregnant with him, and she crawled on the floor for 9 months.
oh my gosh.
Look at that. And because she just crawled on the floor, and so you can imagine his discomfort. It's really the mother always on the floor,
Yeah.
moving that way. See, she started, he immediately, oh my gosh. So my discomfort came from my mother was always on the floor and very suffering, a lot of pain. And then the woman who represented the mother looked at him. He said, my son, I'm just doing this for you. Once you are out of my belly, I will go on with my life. I will move on to the other side. So the mother stayed there in the pregnancy until she completed the pregnancy. Can you imagine? So then he went into desperation. He said, and I spent so many years
So many years. Oh,
blaming my mother of wanting to abort me. So this
wow.
is how family constellation and I wouldn't have an answer about that. I just look and observe and I just tell them what's going on, or check what's going on, and they understand. And then from that moment he just understood. He was completely healed. One session.
Wow.
One session.
Oh my goodness. That's so powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah. Now
Very
I wanna go on to the orders, but before we do that, where do people find this? I mean, if they want to be a part of the family constellations, where do they find it?
well. I mean that, like, going to the internet you find, but my I have a website, um also the organization AFIA. So, but I have my own website too. Well, in there in my organization there is also the website of AFIA. So my website is www dot healingtraumawell.com.
Okay. Okay.
Healing trauma well.
Okay.
Well in many
Right,
different
right,
ways.
right,
So
right.
there you will find my contact, and you can actually find out. You can mark sessions, or you can send message, and all those kind of things, because I have some trainings going on all over the place.
Okay.
So people can get in touch with me and I can tell them there's a training happening here, there's a training happening there. Some happening in India, some happening in China, some happening in, we're going
Okay.
to start a new one in Cairo, and all of those kind of things. So this one happening in I'm going next week. I go. This one will be happening in New York City.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
But are there therapists that hold these sessions regularly, that's not in a training session? Like, they've been trained and they hold these, or do you have to travel to these kinds of places?
Well, there are therapists that I think if you put in the website to find out the therapist of family constellation, you will
You
find.
find somebody. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
find somebody.
yeah.
I'm just giving of my own.
Sure, right,
There's a
right.
lot of people who are into this, and I have trained so many people. I would say.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. All right. So let's get into.
The
I
orders.
wrote this down. The orders. The I learned a lot about that. The flow of life and love energy in a family occurs when the following orders are respected. And
Yeah.
then you talk about. Well, you go ahead. Take over. What are the orders?
Right. So the orders of love. So Bert Hellinger, who is the founder of family constellation system therapy, and he really never wanted to own it and be called the founder, but he said he kind of went into the movement of it, like he was called into it. Because as a missionary, Catholic missionary, actually, was a priest, Jesuit father. He went to South Africa, yeah, and from Germany to South Africa. And because of his nature, he was a very humble person. So he didn't just go and teach them and tell them what to do. He actually went and he immersed himself within the people. He followed the people in the community, and he will sit there right in the corner and listen to their rituals, listen to what they are saying, observe how they are doing things in life, daily life. I guess that's how he really was meant to be. So he learned a lot and he started writing these things. The first thing he came up with was the orders of love, because he said the orders of love he noticed from the nature and from the indigenous people of Zulu people of South Africa. He said this is how life should run, and it's all natural. It's not like orders like Ten Commandments come from heaven,
Yeah.
not
Right.
like
Right.
that. This is like the life flow, the river flow. If you take out all of the things that are keeping the water from flowing, that's the nature like that. So, in the first order of love he observed from the rituals and how people lived their life daily, what is the order of reverencing. So, those who are younger reverence those who came before. Yeah. And reverencing has this gesture of really kind of just humbly saying, all right, you came before me and I recognize that. That's all. You're not saying I'm bad, I'm good, you're better. Nah, we don't use all those terminologies. We just say, I recognize that you came before me. And when you do that, both the person being recognized, they relaxed, and the person who is recognizing, we relaxed, and relationship flows better.
And you
Because
call that, and that
love,
was that one you call hierarchy, but I know
hierarchy.
hierarchy has a negative connotation, but it's this is a healthy hierarchy,
Yeah,
and
it's a healthy
it's
hierarchy.
really interesting. I think so basically what you were saying before, when like the daughter is trying to parent the mother,
Yeah.
that's outside of the hierarchy. That's the natural
Exactly.
order. Yeah.
Exactly. That goes outside the hierarchy, because if you have to respect the hierarchy. It's like in the nature, what is the hierarchy in the nature? The waterfalls fall from the above and goes down. We so far we have not seen the waterfalls that come from the
That
earth.
goes up.
It doesn't
Haven't seen it
happen.
yet.
We haven't seen yet. Maybe in another, I don't know,
Maybe
in another
tomorrow.
universe. Because as you see, it comes because of the gravity, right?
Right,
Comes
right.
down. So if I use that as a kind of phenomena to show that our parents or those who came before, they are right above there in the waterfalls, and then they flow. The energy they give us, it flows down. Now, if I am higher than the waterfalls, I won't receive any blessings from the waterfalls. So, but if I bend, the waterfalls covers me, cover my head, my everybody. I receive it all. But if I'm standing taller than the waterfalls, I will miss it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly as simple as that. So that's
Yeah.
the law of nature. So when you do this reverencing, your parents actually have tendency to bless you quite silently.
Well, I've seen it the other way around too, though, where I've seen it where the parent acts like the child. Um,
But that
y
disorganization, though,
okay.
that is where the sickness happens.
Yeah.
When the parent act as a child, that system, no blessing, no love that is flowing in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not assuming the proper hierarchical role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their responsibility. That's it. That's what happens in the US or in the West in general. The, because the parents are no longer wanting to accept to get old. So they even tell their children, don't call me
Oh, yeah,
daddy, or don't
right.
call me, just call my name.
Yeah. Oh, that was big. It really drove my husband and I crazy. These little kids coming and saying, "Hi, Carol." It's like, wait a minute. I misses, give me some.
I know.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
what is happening? I want to be younger. And so don't call you make me old. So
Y-
then the
y-
kids get so confused and then they start to act weird, like acting terribly, really weird. Yeah. So it's out of order. So the kids
yes.
will not get blessings, and these parents become like a child and they get frustrated.
That's so fascinating. So
Yeah.
fascinating. So, part of this somatic healing or the family constellations can help us reorder that, or also just becoming aware.
That's
I am
what,
not, I am not revering my grandparents. I'm not
yes.
respecting them,
I'm
and
not respecting them, and
yeah,
that's what is happening to me. You
yeah,
just help people to become aware of that, and actually, the whole life change.
yeah, yeah. Right.
Totally,
Right, so
totally.
it's not
Yeah,
like you have to be in a therapy session for that, just pay attention to
yeah,
are you in the proper order,
yes.
child, parent, grandparent, great parents.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
within the family, also, there is older siblings and younger siblings. So the
yeah,
older siblings also recognize their place, that they came first, and the younger ones they came later, and also do the reverence. And
yes.
that take us, if we go to the working place, we will also find those people who came to that company earlier on. If new people come into the company and they clean everybody else and they invent their
Right,
own rules, that disorganized the organization.
right, so there's a
Yeah,
disrespect to that, but then also it impacts
yeah.
the functionality of
Yes,
the
yes,
family or the organization
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So because if you have that from your own family, you take it to your workplace.
yes, yeah,
It repeats in your workplace.
right.
And then therefore, that's not. And so that's a big one. And I help people look. I also help people even work with their organizations too. I call it I call it organizational constellations as well.
Okay, okay.
Then there's another order which is called belonging. The second order of love, belonging. Everyone has a right to belong. If we take away the right to belong of those people, the system disorganizes itself again. For the love to flow, everyone has to have their place and they have to belong. When one person is excluded, the love stops right there where the exclusion happens. And then everybody suffers because love is no longer flowing. And it
Mhm.
is systemic. It affects everybody. Yeah. For example, if somebody in a family has a characteristic that we think is weird, oh, he's in drug or she's in drugs, and then we say, well, you know what? We are not going to invite them for any family functions because they create chaos, right? So we don't invite them. So we are
Yeah,
excluding them, right? Because they have a odd behavior.
right.
So when we don't invite them, those who are there come to the function or come to the gathering of the family, they begin to fight with one another. Even though the one they think they could have, they
The
begin.
one
And then
yeah.
I've had many people come back and say, well, the last gathering of the family was terrible. There was so much fight and other. It's terrible. I don't know what. So then I said, okay, is there anybody who has been excluded? Well, no, but we have a brother who is in drugs. I said, right, but was he invited in the function? No. So was excluded. Look. Oh, because if he comes and then we with always because he's drunk, he's on drug, blah, 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 and we are going to fight, right? Well, but what happened? He ended up fighting anyway.
Yeah.
Energy, yeah. So,
Yeah.
intention. So when you include him, he might change because anyway, his behavior of being in the drugs, it doesn't happen only to him. It is disorganization of the whole family that he's like a scapegoat only.
Right.
And that's why he has to be included for the family to heal.
Oh, that's so interesting. I'm curious, how would it be if he's invited but he doesn't come? The
That's okay.
Yeah,
So if he made a choice not to come, that
right.
is
That's different. He
that's
still
different.
belongs through the invitation.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
actually, when you all sit around, you can put a chair for him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, set the plate for him. Now, I want to say something else about belonging because this is what really, really, really was pretty awakening for me. Because you
Yeah,
also talked about children
uh-huh.
who
Miscarriage.
died, or miscarriages, or aborted children, or
Yes,
children who were adopted out of the family, that they belong in the family. And so
yes,
this is really fascinating for me because I come from a family. Until I read your book, I would have said I'm the third child, but now I say I'm the fourth child.
yes. Good
I'm the
for you.
I'm the fourth child because there was a stillborn baby born 5 years ahead of my older sister.
Yes.
And my whole family, my parents would never want her to talk about it. "Don't talk about it. We don't talk about that. That was
Yeah,
never meant to be," you know? And so, the whole for me, anyway, this is my experience in the family, we don't talk about that. And then after me, there were 2 miscarriages. We
yeah,
don't talk about those either. And so there were 5 children, but really there were 8.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
so can you talk more about this, that we to include all of the children that were at least a part of the family for some time?
Yes. You know, yeah, so you're very right, Carol. I'm glad you do this because they belong. Their souls belong here in that family. Yeah. They have a place and their rightful place. Like, okay, you're now, because of if you place the one who didn't come, or they came and then they had to leave, then you will be the third one instead of being the second. And then as you continue the other ones too, you put them in a place and then you can count. We are now 8. This is wonderful. That's all you need to do. And the
Okay.
souls and then and then the whole family begin to feel actually lighter,
Yeah.
and even they get more relationship is better. Yeah. Now, there is something here about, of course, we say your parents never wanted to talk about it. You have to understand that for your mother, it was very painful.
Yes. Yeah.
So to talk about it, it's like cutting,
Yes.
the scar all the time and
Yes.
itching it.
My
And
dad said, "Don't ever bring that up to your mother." I was curious, and he said,
yeah,
"Don't talk to her about it." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And exactly, he
Mhm.
knew she's the
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
He's like, I just want, but they talking about freeze response.
Mhm.
So it was too painful to deal with. He just froze it. She just froze it. So you don't have to check with them to ask them. You don't have to say, well, can we talk about it? So why do you want to talk about it? What are you going to say about it? But if you just have an intention of including, when you're making your family tree and just put them there, the whole system feels happy.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
that's so simple. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's really helpful.
Mhm.
Um, I know we're at our hour, but I wanna talk about one more thing, and I could talk to you for hours, but, I would like to hear what you have your thoughts on depression and what that is, and can depression be healed through these somatic and family constellations modalities? Um, so I'll just let you take the floor on that.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. We forgot one more order of love.
Oh, we did, yes, it
We
was
did.
equilibrium, yeah,
Equilibrium. Yes,
yeah.
the balance between receiving and give. Because again, receiving comes from our parents. We have to receive from the parents who gave us for the first time. We came to the world, we had nothing, we were nothing. We were very, very, very vulnerable, and they gave us everything. Even if they gave us for adoption, they already gave us life, which is everything. and then somebody else take care of it, that is fine.
Yeah.
So if we can say yes to that and thank you to that, and I'm saying if we can say yes to that because we're going to move into depression, which is connected to that. If I can really receive and say yes to this life that I receive, then I'm okay. Then I feel like I say, yes, thank you, Mother, for giving me life. And thank you, Father, for putting energy into this life. That's it. That's more than enough. Even if they didn't have much to give you material wise, it doesn't matter anymore. So with what you received, then you become a whole person and you can give it out to people. You give it out to your partner, you give it out to the world. But if you say no to your parents because they were not good, because they were not educated, because they were, we have all these reasons we
Yeah.
say that I got nothing. It's like you are negating what you receive as life. When you go out, you actually go with a lot of neediness. You relate with neediness because you're saying, my parent didn't give me, please give me. My mother didn't give me, please give me. In the relationship, that's what we take. My father didn't give me, please give me. So you marry somebody whom you want them to be your father. If you marry somebody, you want them to be your mother. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you have, if it's women to women, men to men, it doesn't matter. You
Hmm.
go in your needness. Huh? And so we help people like to go back to say thank you, go back to receive, so that when you meet your partner, you are meeting your partner in the equal balance, equal level. You're not waiting for them to give you. You say, I have something to give you, and then they give you something in return. So that's where the balance happens. Yeah?
So
Good.
yeah, so if you're needy, um, and wanting something from everybody or in your relationships, it's because you've cut off, you've not acknowledged the gift that you've received from your parents.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
say 100%.
yeah. Even if they were abusive, even if they were on
Even if
drugs.
they, yes, even if they were abusive,
Yeah,
because all those things is always at the whole matters of perspective. I perceive differently than anybody else in the family also. Perception and my own, it is my own perspective, it's my own what I observe. It's not necessarily what is the truth of the matter. Yeah, so I'm
yeah.
just bringing
Right,
my
right, right.
small, yeah, perspective here. Okay,
Okay.
so that's why, even if I always say, I add there, even if I think they abused me,
Yeah.
even if I think they didn't give me anything, if I just say, okay, I will just bow myself down, I will just be humble and receive, that changes your life completely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you do this, uh, you help people with this, either the orders or the somatic experiencing. You do this online as well as in person, and
Yeah.
also the workshops. Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
training.
I do these sessions online, many sessions. Since COVID, I've been doing a lot of work online,
Yeah.
individual and groups. So now depression is one of those, actually, when the children are really first we can start with that idea of also the abortions, the miscarriages that mm, were not acknowledged, yeah, or they were not mourned. Actually, what happens here is that another child who is born later might actually take the place of this one who went. So if they're taking a place of the one who went, they're taking a place where the energy is the energy of really death, of going away. So they don't feel themselves, they don't feel energy, they don't, and they actually always want to commit suicide. I attended this client from South Korea. I have examples from all over the world. From Korea, young man, he was only 17 years old. He had done 3 attempts for suicide,
Wow.
and then we did a session. I did one session, and I just asked him, and then I said, I want to know from the bodily sensation, how does he feel? He said, I just feel like I have no energy for life. And when I feel like I have no energy for life, I just feel like, why am I living for? If I cannot, I don't want to go to class. I don't want to go play. I feel that. So over suddenly, boom, this light came up in my mind. I said, are you the only child? Yes. Do you know if your mom had a miscarriage before you? He said, no, it's not miscarriage. It was an abortion. In the time in Korea, they were asked to only have one child. So they had to go to the doctor when they discovered that she was pregnant again. So she had to. So what happened? His soul felt very painful with that. So he took up. He wanted to follow the same destiny.
Oh, wow.
Because that we call also is the guilt of survivor's
Yeah,
guilt.
yeah, survivor guilt. Yeah, yeah.
Because he felt, why do I deserve to live and my sibling didn't? Even though it's not so clear elaborated in mind, but when we were working, he said he agreed with, yes, I always felt like I don't deserve to live.
Wow. Okay.
And so then I said, why don't we make an image of your sibling who went, and put him there right next to you. He did that and he smiled, beautiful smile. He said, yeah, now I feel some energy in my body.
Oh my.
And in the end, he's like, can I take a picture of this so I can remember always that my sibling is here and I have my own place? So that way he could actually find himself. My place is here and my place of my sibling is here. No more, we didn't have any complaint anymore of him wanting to commit suicide. It was one
Wow.
of, yeah. Okay.
And would it be a similar situation possibly if it was a miscarriage or a stillborn birth?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
could be also.
Yeah.
It could be. So it doesn't have to always be that way, but that's one of the possibilities. Another possibility is if in the family, the suicide runs through the family too. If there was an ancestor who committed suicide, then also if it doesn't stop there, if people were scared and they didn't include this person who committed suicide because of shame and all that, a new generation will come up and repeat the same thing. So
Mm.
it's like you ask them, what is missing? You have everything. They say, I don't know. I just don't feel right in my body. So when we open the family constellation, this is revealed. Yeah. And then another possibility is that also it's when they are not living, like they have had some fights with the father, for example, and they're very angry at the father, or especially the father or the mother. The extreme anger takes away their energy of living.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it comes to a place where they just get depressed and they just want to die.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so we work with that life energy for them to be able to receive from the mother, accept their father, and then the depression disappear too.
Yeah, and the Western medical answer is, pills.
Yeah,
It's so interesting. So, would you agree that it's not really mental and about serotonin and all that kind of stuff? It really is something that has to do with our relationships and our disconnections.
exactly. Okay. The thing is, when they did the test, they might find serotonin is low. They might find this, all of these other hormones is too much. But it is there because of the emotions they are experiencing constantly with what happened in the family. Yeah,
Yeah.
if a child was angry at the father for something that happened, he's constantly fighting with his father. Now, even though he doesn't say it, he's constantly in his mind fighting. So he's liberating a lot of adrenaline, and the adrenaline just strain your muscles. Adrenaline, cortisol, it strain your muscles. It make you feel totally tired all the time with no energy. So that it has an impediment of the other hormones of pleasure like serotonin, and also even dopamines. They're inhibited to come because this is too much. So sure, the proof will be there, but what is the origin? This is what
Yeah,
we
yeah.
always look for.
Yeah, what's under all of it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
interesting. I one of the things that I really love about what you said a few times is it's simple, simple. It's simple. And we complicate it.
I
And
know.
and these sessions can this healing can happen quickly. It's fascinating.
Very quickly when the person, when you get it, when you observe, I think when you are ready, you get it. Sometimes
Y-
people are not ready. They
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah.
well, is that true? I don't know if that is true, what is happening there. There's no true or not true. It's just a phenomena that these people don't know each other, and then this comes up. I mean, it's not a whole question. When you start saying, I don't know if I believe in that, then you're not ready.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Sure,
We say
right.
to people, okay, you maybe wait a couple of years
Yeah.
with suffering and pain,
Or
and then you
44 years like that.
come.
Oh my god. That's a long time. Oh,
Right.
gosh. Efo, this is so much fun. I love your energy. You're such a bright light. And I mean, you're obviously completely in tune with who you are and doing this magnificent work in the world. And I can just see you. I mean, you're obviously a healer. Obviously a healer. So, is there anything else you would like to share before we close?
Well, what I just want to say is that all of this work we do, we try to balance between feeling the body and the cortical brains. Our cortical brain that generate reasons and reasons, it's what really make us suffer. Yeah?
Mhm.
Peter Levine, I remember another quote of Peter Levine again. I remember one time in class, say he was teaching and he said, "You know, our cortical brain is a blessing, and at the same time, is a curse." Why? Because it's a blessing because it's creative. It can create ideas. It can dream. It can make an airplane that fly, and then we just in a couple of hours you are on the other side of the world and all that. But on the other hand, when we begin to just think, then actually that makes us suffer a lot. So what he's saying here is that we need to balance. Can we take time to notice what is happening to our physiology? Because when you notice what is happening to your physiology, you are in touch, and actually you can stop a lot of processes that are happening that could create a lot of damage in our body, in our physiology as well. So no, having time to be able to stop and notice what is happening in our system, we will be well.
Yes. Oh man, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom and your experience. I think it's just been fascinating. As I was reading your book, I just learned a lot about myself and my family. So so for me, I've got to go kind of process some of that. But I really, really appreciate it.
Okay. That's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
glad.
Thank you so much, Efu, and everybody who joined us. Yes. Bless
Yeah.
everybody. Just bless everybody.
Yes, yes. So yes, this is great. We bless everybody. We all have a good intention to heal ourselves and the world, because this is our right to be
Yes.
well.
Yes, it is our right to be well. Okay. Thank you, Efu, and thank you everyone for listening. And I now close the spiritual forum.
Amen.